Are you unsure about how to navigate TSP? I'm not talking about how to actually allocate your contributions, but just navigating the website and you're not sure about how to use it to reallocate some of your funds and maybe change your contribution. So today we're going to work on how to do just that because I've run into a few people that do not know how to navigate the TSP website. And if you're in federal service, this is something that you need to know. So I learned about it a few years ago, and I know they made some changes to the website, but this is super helpful as you're navigating and planning your retirement, at least understanding what the different features are for you to be more empowered about how to navigate the system. All right, here we go. So this is the main page of the TSP. The areas of focus that we're going to look at is investments, account activity, how to change your investments, and then also look at contributions. Contribution actually shows you what your breakdown is with regards to what you've allocated and contributed to the TSP. So first we'll start with investment. Okay, so please don't judge my allocation. I'm just here to show you the mechanics of how to do the TSP. So it gives you your year to date, basically until 2025. It gives you what your current investment strategy is. Again, I'm exiting from federal service, so I have a lot of stuff in cash. But it's also broken down by G fund. And here it gives you allocation of your current fund return for the fiscal year, and then see how you want to allocate your investment, your basically a retirement. So you can go ahead and if you click on the hyperlinks that says PDF on it, it'll actually tell you what the funds that are included in that particular. So basically, so when you click on that hyperlink, it opens up a PDF and you can see the C fund is basically mimics the S&P 500. That's why you've seen as the market has increased in the past few years, a lot of you guys have done well, but things have kind of shifted since the new administration has put on some tariffs. I'm noticing a lot better return with international fund. I'm still a little bit leery, but it tells you here, if you click on the iFund, which countries are part of that group and see how they're being allocated. But right now you can see a majority of it's Japan and then a couple of other smaller countries that make that large 33%. But again, I'm not here to tell you how to allocate. It is up to your comfort level. Right now, I am waiting to exit and transition this into something else. So that's the reason why it's so cash heavy. And then here you can also take a look at what your current return has been for the last year. Again, I'm very conservative right now. Here you can also take a look at the fund performance. This is more overall. So you can see all the different life cycles. It depends on when you are projected to retire, and that's how it's allocated. You can see if your retirement is later on. If you click on one of these PDFs, it gives you a breakdown of all the different life cycle funds as far as your target date. If you're a little bit leery as far as how you want to invest, a lot of people I know have done the life fund. As you can see, I am born in 1972, so I would be in the 2035, and then it gives you your fund allocation. As you're, like, if you're younger, you can see that more of a C fund heavy, and then followed by small companies and then international funds. But as you get older, you can see that it's shifting more into more G funds. Again, I shifted more here. Actually, I'm more super conservative because I am exiting in a few months. So that's how you would navigate this particular fund performance tab in the investments. Here you can also compare how certain funds have done in the last year. So if I do CFA, and I think you can only do up to 3, and then it'll compare how my rate of return has compared over time. See, again, I've been very super conservative. This is my rate of return right here. I am super flat. because I knew I was exiting. But I did miss this big dip right here, and that's what I was kind of worried about. We had that, oh, was it like, I think it was Japan that had not a stock market crash, but they had some issues. I believe it was in June. And then you can see a lot of changes, especially when the tariffs were put in place, and I wasn't willing to risk it. So that's how you can look at and do a graph comparison. The next thing is, let's look at contributions. And this is something that you can take a look at because it gives you the details as far as what you have currently in your TSP. Here, a non-taxable balance, basically this is your Roth contribution. I found out that when you do put in for a Roth contribution, thinking that it's going to be matched equally as in Roth, and they will match you as Roth, no, your match will be basically tax deferred. So you will notice that your traditional IRA is definitely a lot higher than your Roth contribution. So when you are transitioning and exiting out of the federal service, your traditional, if you are younger than 59 and a half, you will have to convert it and roll it over to something similar. And then same thing with the Roth. With traditional IRA, they have passed a law that allows you to do multiple Roth conversions over time. So then this way you don't have to do it all at once and then pay a huge tax bill. What you can do is roll it over in different series over several years. So it makes it a lot easier as far as when you're paying taxes, because you will have to pay tax when you convert. The advice that my brother gave me, and since I work now in financial services, planning out that conversion will save me in taxes in the long run, as long as I do it before a specific age. If you're approaching 73, there is required basically a distribution date. Like, so you're supposed to start drawing from your traditional IRA by age 73, or you get taxed like 50%. So you have the time. Make sure you start converting and do that series conversion way before 73. And then also, my brother suggested that when I do that conversion, wait until my income is a lot lower. Right now, I am a GS13, so that is in the six figures. I will wait until 2026 when I'm just getting my retirement income. And then since I'm just getting this new venture started, my income should not be as high. And then this would be a good time for me to do conversion. If I wait too long and I start earning more income, that's going to be an issue. So think about the timing of how you're going to do your conversion. The next thing is, I know I mentioned about account activity. This is kind of a statement, an electronic one, to see how you're doing for the year with regards to a summary, and then it gives you your fund activity, the different fund prices, and the number of shares like that you currently have purchased as you've contributed. But it's not as much fun, so I don't really look there. So I only look at my investments and this piece right here. How do you change your investment mix? So when you get started, you can do two things, right? You can basically change the investment mix of your entire TSP, which is basically money that's already in the plan. So as you change the mix, basically the slices of the pie, it'll also change what you already have in place. Or you can stay, I only want to change the mix of what I'm currently contributing in the future. So you can click that to continue. Right now, my current mix, as you can see, it's mostly, I have like, this is my future contribution. So basically I have C fund, S fund, and I fund. And then if I want to change that mix, I can go ahead and hit continue. So you can change here. Let me say I'm age 53. So if we do the rule of 100, you should be more conservative, like closer to your age. So let me just make it even 50. And then I will do, since my fund is doing well, let's do 30 and then 10. 10 again equal 100. Hit continue. And this is what your future mix will look like. Let me go back. Let me change that to, let's do 40, let's do 30, 30. Actually, I like 50. 25, 25. Make it an even 100%. And then, so that's my contribution, what it'll look like. And go ahead, and it's completely successful. So I just changed the mix of the next pay period. I didn't change the mix of what I have already in place. I'm not willing to risk that. So the other thing is, if you are changing your investment again and you want to move money between funds, this is the other thing that somebody taught me. You can actually do an interfund transfer. Here, I want to switch it and move some of my iFund money into my G fund because I'm getting ready to exit. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Yes, I put the 50% like high risk, but I'm not willing to risk 14,000. So I am going to move like 100% of that money into the G fund. And I know it's not a whole lot of growth. So again, don't judge me. I'm exiting in like 60 days. I'm going to move that money into the G fund, and then eventually that'll get transferred to my own self-directed IRA or an annuity, depending on how risky I want to go. But I have to do some more research on that one. So those are the things as far as contributions and then changing your investment. Again, if you want to look at the status of your loan, this is to roll over funds into the TSP, but I'm going to be planning on exiting. Make sure that you do have something in place before you roll out your TSP funds into your new vehicle that you're going to be placing it in, because it cannot have your name on it. It has to have direct transfer from, financial institution to another. This way, it's not a taxable event for you. All right. I hope that was helpful. I know that was a lot. It was just something that people really didn't teach you. And I know I didn't learn it until a couple years in. So that was super helpful. And that allowed me to grow my TSP and help me manage it a little bit and then be in control. Please share, like, and subscribe, and continue to follow as I transition into federal retirement instead of federal career. All right. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.